there will be no rapture. And Jesus is not coming back.
I always tell people that black folks have something that I call the Jesus complex. See, the reason why people want a Jesus, to me, I always tell people, I scare black people, I say Jesus is never coming back. Black people go, oh.
Please understand and hear me. Listen to what I'm saying. But I must share this information with you to help open your eyes and set you free. This is some deep stuff, because you got folk who honestly believe that because I've been redeemed and I've been washed, that one day a trumpet is going to sound and we're going to be caught up.
The Bible is a book of fiction as applied to history. There was no such people. There was no such events.
That's right.
There was no such anything in the Bible. It's a book. It's Grimm's fairy tales. The Bible is the book for adult children who have no common sense, who refuse or have given up on the pursuit of true knowledge. It's too difficult to do that kind of work. And again, I would warn you, brother, if you pursue knowledge within the rubric or the construct of a particular philosophy or ideology, then know that anything that they tell you from in there to pursue will support that ideology. So if you're trying to find the truth around what it is that you call your Hebrew, or trying to find the truth around the Israelites and the Jew, you don't look at the information they give you. The last place to look for Christianity's truth is in Christianity. The last place to look for the truth of the Bible is in the Bible. You deal with peripheral investigations. Your investigations 3 and 4 levels deep. Some things that you find may substantiate parts of the Bible. But the substantiation of the Bible just proves that the Bible is nothing more than an interpolation of that which you are searching for. And that is the ultimate reality behind the Bible. Don't look for truth. The lies are all set up as the truth. So instead of looking for truth, look for the reality of the thing. Once you find the reality of the thing, there is no fringes. Then inside of the reality, the seed of truth will be there.
You don't expect to see Jesus coming down the turnpike, the Jersey Turnpike, coming across the George Washington Bridge, or through the Holland or the Lincoln Tunnel, riding on a jackass or a donkey from 2,000 years ago. Talking about, I'm back, blocking up traffic in the tunnel and blocking up the traffic on the George Washington Bridge. Talking about, I'm back, and I came to save the world, riding on the same damn donkey that he left on 1,993 years ago. This is ridiculous. Huh? I said it's ridiculous. It's just as ridiculous as believing that God is in the sky and the devil is under the ground. That there's a heaven in the sky and a hell under the ground. That the devil is some fellow with some red pantyhose and a pitchfork, and he's going to stick you and jug you in an eternal fire and roast you forever. And that God is sitting around, riding around on a cloud with a computer, computing everything that you do every day. Watching you, spying on you, and just computing. This don't make no sense.
This is the crux of allegory. For no man has ever talked to God. No man has ever seen it, heard it, smelt it. So why should we believe in something we ain't never seen, heard, or smelt? Let me tell you the truth. If this particular book came from any other civilization prior to the European, they would have said it was a book of myths. Because everything else that existed beforehand, they would tell you that the Kemites was talking about the myth of Osiris, the myth of this and the myth of that. Yet still, all of that is in this book, and it's true. And you got standing up on pulpits in front of a symbol of preaching to you about someone that's going to bring you back to life. For Christ's sakes, the man hanging on a cross, how is that the symbol of life? Think about it.
When they attacked Africa, they did not attack Africa physically. They did not attack Africa educationally. They attacked Africa spiritually. Jomo Kenyatta said when the European first came to Africa, the Africans had the land and the white man had the Bible. White man told him to close his eyes, get on his knees and pray. Jomo said when the black man opened his eyes, the white man had the land and the black man had the Bible. We have bought into a story that we told them. They have twisted it. They got it twisted.
I can go there with that. And I can take on any theologian that you got, bring them down. And I'll show you, give me your 12 tribes, give me your 12 disciples, give me your 99 pearls of faith of Islam, and I'll show you those are nothing but sets of qualities and attributes, and I can juxtapose them in a perpendicular line besides the Orishas of the Yoruba, besides the Loas of the Voodoo, besides the Netches of Egypt, and show you we're talking about the same system.
Jesus is a name which did not come into existence in the English form until the 1600s. The letter J was not invented until the 1600s. Let me say this again. The letter J was not invented until the 1600s. So the reality is Jesus is not the name of that person. The word Christ is a title. It's not a name. Christ means the anointed one. And there were many people before the birth of Jesus who also bore that title, Christ. There were 16 people who were known as Christ. So Jesus was the last of saviors of mankind, saviors of a group of people who were known as Christ.
I don't understand why you would pick up a book that is so readily sold to the mass population. Most of the ignorant people are the ones that the Bible is sold to. So I'm trying to figure out, a brother who is enlightened, how could you take a book that was given to us so freely, like they give the cheese in our community, like they give out stuff in our community? How could you take something that they've given you and thrown your rightness, your reason, your intellect, your logic into that, and how do you come out of those pages with what you do? And unless you have the key to what it is that was written in those books, they could give you anything and hide it in those words, and then have agents, ministers, interpret it for you. I could destroy pretty much everything that you would bring to me as history in the Bible, because I could give you the analogous myth that preceded everything in the Bible by hundreds of thousands of years. So if you could read in people's histories before these so-called Jews, Israelites and all that, before they existed by thousands of years, if you could read the same story of Moshe or Mose or Moses, and you could read it in the story of Sargon, if you could read it in the story of Jehudi and Heru, if you could read that from stories 10, 20,000 years before even the word Israelite came up, if you could read that at that point, then everything you are defending will no longer have foundation. So the last thing that you do is defend information. You don't defend information. You don't need to defend. You don't need to defend reality. You don't need to defend truth. So by going along and trying to recruit people into a truth, you will find that the more you hold on to it, the less sure you'll become as you grow older. Because truly, once you hold on to a dogma as truth, everything will resist you, and you will find your life being set up to prove your point. I've long since stopped trying to prove my point. All I do is lay the facts out, and through my ability to let the facts speak for themselves and interpret it without a biased mind and with a metaphysical eye. The first